morning, everyone. Welcome to the top tips for social media at Christmas webinar. So thank you very much for joining. My name's Marina Stedman. So I'll just quickly go through the agenda. We've got quite a lot of content today, and some of you who've been to some of our previous webinars will notice that you may have seen some of these before. So some of it's a recap and some of it's new, but we've got some quite good fun tips about things to do with your social media campaign, particularly around Christmas. So for example, why is a social media campaign at Christmas important? How to decorate your social media profiles. So for example, your YouTube or your Facebook covers. Some ideas for fun Christmas themed content around images and GIFs and videos. And then looking and following trends around Christmas. So there'll be a lot of trends and hashtagging that you can get onto the back of and hopefully get more awareness and more followers for your social media activities. And then a bit about targeting accounts, and then how to use your fundraising page on the Good Exchange platform to drive donations, and then a little bit about how to report on the results of your campaign after Christmas. So we've got three presenters today. So me, Marina Stedman, the head of marketing, who many of you know, so running in the marketing at the Good Exchange. I've got Roisin Evans, our client services and marketing assistant.
Hello,
Roisin.
Hello.
And also Misha, our client services administrator. So I expect a lot of you know Misha and Roisin because you speak to them many times about customer services activities. So to start off with, then, why is social media important at Christmas? And we've got some quite interesting statistics here about social media. So nearly half the people across the world, so if you're targeting people in the UK or across the world, have got some sort of social media account. And by the word active, it means a social media account that they're using. Now, in 2013, the average user had 4, whereas now the average user has over 8 social media accounts, and in the UK, that's nearly 7. And also 96% of those UK social media users used some sort of social activity in the last month. So really the point of these statistics are to show that a lot of people in the UK and across the world use social media actively at some time. So it's a really good way of getting access to people you're trying to target. And the other thing to bear in mind is that most social media is completely free. So if you're a small charitable organisation or a sports club or something, you don't have to have money to spend to get to your target audiences through social media. An important thing to note here is the growth of mobile only. So a lot of users now use social media only on their mobile phones. So it's important when you're building your social media campaigns to think about what's it going to look like on a mobile phone. And also another important fact that we wanted to pull out was there's a shift to what's called private channels. So if you're familiar with things like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, a lot of people now are more likely to share content through their WhatsApp contacts or their Facebook Messenger contacts than they are through sharing it from something like Twitter, for example. So it's important when you're thinking about your social media activity is how are you going to allow your supporters to share that information through something like WhatsApp. And if the Good Exchange has a facility to be able to share your public page and a link to your fundraising page through WhatsApp. So that's something really important to bear in mind. Some quite fun statistics, particularly about Christmas holidays and in the UK. So there was a recent survey that came out, I don't know if you saw it, by Sainsbury's. They say that more than 6 million adults in the UK have admitted that they forgot to donate to charity, even though they told someone that they had. So while nearly half felt happy and proud to donate, a lot of them are forgetting. But also 85% agreed it's important to give money to good causes. But I think this is one of the key facts here, that a third of people are more likely to make a donation when given a prompt, and another third would be inclined to give to charity if it was easy. So points to take away from that is, first of all, use social media to prompt your followers or people who are interested in what you do to make a donation and make it easy for them. So for example, putting a link to your donation page on your social media activity. There are some other interesting things around Google. People in the UK make the most Christmas searches than anywhere else in the world. And we've got some tips a bit later in the webinar on some keywords around Christmas to put into your social media activities so that you're more likely to be found. The other thing to bear in mind is there are 34% more shopping searches made on Christmas Day than on Black Friday. So it's important to keep your campaigns running even over Christmas on Christmas Day and Boxing Day. I'm handing over to Roisin now to go through the next bits of the presentation.
Hi there everyone. So I'm just going to expand a little bit more on some of the reasons why you should run a Christmas social media campaign. So as Marina said, that donations increase at this time of the year. So CAF's UK Giving 2019 report found that November and December the peak months for giving to charity. And they also found a 19% increase in online donations through the months November to January. So this time of year, it's great to take advantage of key dates over the festive period. So for example, Giving Tuesday, 3rd of December is a really key date that's coming up. Also key dates for giving are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Research typically shows that people are more giving around these dates. Okay, so another reason to do an online campaign is that Virgin Giving did some research with 2,000 shoppers, and 61% of them saying being approached by high street fundraisers actually put them off giving to charity. So by being able to promote your fundraising project online is a good way to increase donations without being a nuisance to potential donors and potentially damaging your relationship with them, as they also found that if they were approached by high street fundraisers, it might actually put them off donating to your charity in the future. Fourth, it's also a great time to increase your brand awareness and communicate to your donors what a difference the money will make to your charity. So we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail later on in the webinar. But for example, you could say, £5 donation will provide one hot meal for a homeless person. Okay, so I'm going to go through decorating your social media profiles for Christmas. So I'm going to talk about how to update a logo to have a Christmas themed. So first thing you want to do, if you were going to, I'm adding a Santa hat to your logo. So first thing you want to do is go into Google Images and type in something like Santa hat transparent background. Then you need to click on the images, and this will bring up different range of Santa hat images. So it's really important, if you're going to be searching anything on Google Images, that you change the usage rights. So then you change them so you are looking for images that are labeled free for reuse. This is due to copyright reasons. So to do that, if you click on the Tools tab and then Labeled for Reuse, this will bring up all images that you're actually able to use yourself. And then just click the image, save as, and just make sure you save it where you can easily find the image. Okay, so then we're going to go into Canva. So if you haven't used Canva before, we'll put links in the end of the webinar, but you can watch our Canva demonstration in that. So I'll just cover this briefly, work through the steps for you. So what you need to do is go into Canva and select Create a Design, and then type in logo. You can see some templates here. Click on the blank design. So fourth, then you need to upload your Santa hat and logo. So remember what you saved it as and upload the image. You can go into elements then to add in your frame. So you add in your Good Exchange logo, as you can see we've done here. You add in the Santa hat, and then you can just rearrange the images so it nicely fits together. Like I said, I've covered this very briefly, but you can go into more detail through our Canva webinar. Last thing then is to download and save your image. Okay, so next thing to do then for social media is creating your Facebook cover. So similar process, you need to go into Canva, create a design, type in Facebook cover. So this will bring up templates for you to use, which has the right dimensions to fit in a Facebook cover. So it's important that you make sure that you select the right one. And again, if you just select blank. Okay, so Canva's got templates you can use. So if you're not the most creative person, or haven't got much time in your hands, what you can do is go to the templates. And as you can see here, they bring up a range of different templates that you can just stick in and edit to what you want them to say. So if you type in Christmas, and then this will bring up a range of templates for you. And then you can select which template that you want. You can click on the writing and amend any text. So for example, this one here says holiday greetings from Stuart's. That's the template that it brings up. You might want to say Happy Christmas from your actual charity. You can also change the picture. So if you go to photos and then click on uploads, you can either upload an image or you can search an image here. So it depends which way you want. If you have an image in mind that you'd like to use, then you would click upload. If you'd like to search an image and use one that Canva already has, you can go to photos and then search an image. And as you can see here, I've just dragged and dropped that into the template and that's replaced it for you. Same thing, download and save to your computer, and that'll be ready for you then to upload onto Facebook. Okay, so now I'll talk you through how to upload your new logo and your new template onto Facebook. So if you click the logo and click the circle to update, and for your cover photo, same thing. If you click on the camera icon here and then upload photo, and that will allow you to upload your new images. Remember for the Facebook cover that you can add photos and videos, and you can also have a slideshow, which I will cover in a little bit more detail. So as you can see here that I've uploaded a new logo, and this is something that I made earlier. Again, you can go to our Canva video, which will cover how to do this in a little bit more detail. And then make sure that you click save, and that'll be all ready to go then live on your Facebook. So I'm going to talk about how to create a slideshow based cover. So these are really good to grab attention. So build the images you want in your slideshow. It's the same process that I briefly talked about in terms of the dimensions. You need to go into Canva and Facebook templates. Then you need to go into your Facebook page, click change cover and edit slideshow. So then you can pick the images that you want to display in your slideshow. You can move the order of these as well. So it's really for you to just see, what order you want them in. You can have a play around, see what it looks like, then you can go back in and change it if you'd like. And then when you're happy with the order and the images that you've selected, you can click save. Okay, so I'm going to pass you on to Marina, who will be covering Christmas themed content.
So I'm going to talk about how to make some Christmas videos, Christmas gifts and Christmas cards using lots of free resources. So why use GIFs? So this is just a free GIF from Giphy.com. So they're quite fun and they're emotional, relatable, and people like seeing them, and they're really easy to use, and you can put them in any social media content. Canva has a lot of videos of its own. So that one I got from Giphy, but you can make your own in Canva. And as Rasheen said, they'll be ideally sized to the type of post that you want to make. So go back into Canva and click on the type of post. So you can see here there's a Facebook post, a Twitter post, an Instagram post. So pick the type of post you want. So here I'm going to show you an example of making a Christmas Instagram post that's going to have a moving video in it, and I'm going to get it from Canva. So I'm going to call it Christmas Instagram post. Then I'm going to go back and click on videos. So videos is something that's quite new to Canva. You need to have, I think, the professional version. And in one of our previous webinars, we talked about how as a charitable organisation, you can get access to that free. So make sure you've signed up for the free Canva professional version, and then you'll see the videos tab on your Canva menu. So when you get to the videos tab, here you can see I've typed in Christmas. You can type in any keyword that you want, and you'll see what videos Canva has available for you to choose from that are free to use. So you can see here that I've seen a nice snow scene. It's 20 seconds long, and one thing to bear in mind, I think for Instagram they can only be a minute long, so don't have anything too long. So I click on my snow scene, and then if I want to make it a different size, you can see I've got this white rectangle thing and white circle. You just drag the sides along to make it the size that you want. Then I might want to add a text box or a message box to my Instagram post. So here, click on elements to add a box and text to add my message. And you can see here then I've added a message saying, oh, charity Christmas fair, come along and raise money. So you can see in here, I've got my video and I've got my message ready to play on Instagram. And you can click on the play button to preview it. Right, once I've got my design and I'm happy with it, I can't show you the preview now, but I'll show you it in a minute. Then I want to download it. So when you go to the download button at the top, make sure you've got file type video selected in the box there. And remember, as I said earlier, to give it a name so that you know what it is when you've downloaded it. Click on the download button, You'll see Canva preparing your design, and your design will be published. You'll see at the bottom of your page the video appearing. It'll be an MP4. So to save it, you need to click on the up arrow that you can see here. I always say show in folder, because quite often these filing systems, they'll save it somewhere on your PC and you won't be able to find it because it'll be somewhere on the C drive. So I always say show in folder. Then you can copy it and save it to somewhere where you know you're going to be able to find it, and then it'll be ready to use in your social media posts. So if you're using Hootsuite, and again, we covered Hootsuite in one of our previous webinars, you can actually schedule your post to appear at a different time of day, or you can post it directly into Instagram. So for example, if you've got a Christmas Day message, you might want to schedule it in Hootsuite to appear on Christmas Day. So here you can see I've got my Instagram text, and you can see an exact preview of what my Instagram post is going to look like. And in Instagram, I can either schedule it for later or I can post it now. And then if I want to use that same video in, say, Facebook or Twitter, all you have to do is go back into Canva and resize your image and your video to fit into a Facebook post or a Twitter post. So it's really easy and you don't have to be an expert. So here I've got my Christmas video. So if you want to, for example, make something about some of your charity or your charitable cause, just make a blank image and use Canva to automate it. So you can either pick a grid like this, and if you've used Canva before, you'll recognize these clouds or watch our video. Or, as Rasheen said, you can choose a Christmas template from the Canva list. So I've picked this cuddly Christmas card with the little dogs, and I'm going to choose to use this Christmas template. So I can edit the colour, so I've changed it to Good Exchange Green. I've put my logo on it. I've changed the message to say find hundreds of good causes through the Good Exchange. Important thing, if you want to make a GIF out of it, to ungroup it so that the images can appear at different times and do different things. Now, what I want to do is save that as an animation. So I've called it my cuddly Christmas message. I go up to the top, and instead of printing it as a postcard, I want to save it as an animation. So scroll down, click on animation, and then experiment with different types. So if you click on fade, for example, it'll fade in and out, and you'll see in the box on the right hand side of Canva what it will actually look like. When you're happy with the style you've got, click on the download button and save your design. What it should do is draw that Christmas card with the dogs coming in and out. But that MP4 file now is ready to use in any social media post. So if you haven't used Canva, there's a lot of it in this webinar, and you can start using Canva free here. So I talked about a free version for non-profits where you get access to all that functionality. Then click on this link when you get the slides and you'll be able to access Canva for free. Now, I also wanted to show you a bit of fun about something called Elf Yourself. So you can make an Elf Yourself Christmas card for your organisation. So you just go to elfyourself.com. If you haven't got photos, you can take some photos through Elf Yourself, or you can just upload photos you've already got. So I've uploaded my photo, and then you just drag your face around to make sure it fits in the elf picture underneath the hat. Click on next, add another elf. So I've added Rasheen and Misha to my Elf Yourself. Then you can add your greeting. So you enter your message on the Christmas card. So I've put Happy Christmas from the Good Exchange. And then you say, let's dance. So you can choose your music. You can either share the link directly from Elf Yourself, or you can download your video for $2.99. You will need a PayPal account though to download your video. So if you want to use it, for example, in Twitter or Facebook or something, you probably need to download it so you've got the actual video. It won't look so good if you've got a link. So it generates your video, and then you get your design. I know lots of the charitable organisations can't afford to have professional photos taken, so Canva has a lot of photos and videos in it. Look for the free sign when you're in Canva. And again, if you've got the pro version free, you'll get access to a lot more photos and videos. But also these sites here do a lot of free photography. These ones do sort of cartoons, and you can get free gifts here and also directly from Twitter. So now I'm going to hand over to Misha, who's going to talk about looking for and following trends.
Okay, so on Twitter specifically, you can search for the most current popular trending topics. They're called trending topics. You can then get involved in these by following the topics and engaging with the content by liking and retweeting. So Christmas is a really good time to do this, to follow, engage with, and use these trending topics in your own tweets, as more people use social media during Christmas time. And as Marina said earlier on in the webinar, Google have said that people in the UK specifically make more Christmas and similar topic searches than anywhere else in the world. So it's good to get involved in this if you can. So first of all, to look at the trends that are relevant to you on Twitter, you log into your Twitter account and click on Home, and then select the cog symbol next to Trends for You. Then you tick the box to allow Twitter to choose the relevant trends that you see. This may already be ticked when you come into it. Now, the trends that Twitter chooses for you are tailored specifically based on who you follow as a page, the interests that you have as a page, and your location. Now, you can reset this location by unticking the box, and then you can see there that you can amend it below, and then Twitter will update the trends that you see based on that location that you've selected. So your trending topics specifically to your own page will then display directly on your home page, or you can also see them through the Explore section on Twitter. So select any one of these trending topics to view all the tweets related to that specific topic. Or you can also use the search box at the top to search for something specific or a hashtag, such as hashtag Christmas. And then once the tweets involving that topic are displayed to you, you can then get involved on that by liking the tweets, retweeting with a comment, so that you're sharing out that hashtag, that topic as well, and getting involved. Now, if you use the search function to find a specific topic or hashtag, you can also save your search so you can return to this activity again. Once you've searched for your topic, click on the overflow menu next to the search box, and then click Save Search. Click into the main search box on your home page to then view your saved searches, and come back to this at any time to keep up to date with who's saying what about that specific topic. So moving on to hashtagging for the holidays. We're going to look first at top Christmas hashtags that people use. So when you're posting and tweeting yourself on Facebook and Twitter over the holiday period, you can use some of the current most popular trending Christmas hashtags to your own messaging. Again, it's about getting involved. And as more people will be searching for and clicking on these specific hashtags, this can help you to attract a wider audience to your posts and tweets as well, to get them engaged with your own messaging. So you can see here, we've given a couple of examples. Facebook example here, we've used hashtag Christmas and love and Christmas at the end here. So we're getting involved in 3 quite specific Christmas hashtags, and people searching for these will hopefully see our tweet or our post. Twitter here, again, we've used the same ones. So it's about really including these as much as you can, but not adding too many. So what we've done for you here is we've listed the top 10 Christmas hashtags. We found this on a website. This is current for now for this year. So you can see here, obviously, hashtag Christmas is at the very, very top. 59% of people across social media channels using that. So this can give you a nice little list that you can start with. So start to use these in your posts and tweets as much as you can. And then some other popular ones as well, we've listed here for you. So it's a case of just picking some that are relevant to what you're messaging about, but at least having something in there so that people can find your posts and tweets. So as well as using the top hashtags for Christmas, you can also create your own one. Now, this can represent your own Christmas messaging across social media. It can help people to find your posts and tweets and can increase your audience. So the example we've given here, we created our own hashtag last year for Christmas. We created hashtag 12 Days of Charity sort of Christmas for charity. And we're going to use that again this year. And what we're doing is showcasing a particular project, particular charity across the first 12 days of Christmas. So you can see here, this is the ones we used last year. We've included our own hashtag here on Facebook and Twitter in our messaging. And then people searching for that will specifically find our posts and tweets. So some hints and tips when creating a specific holiday hashtag. First of all, think of some examples that you could use. So brainstorm some examples, some ideas first of all. Now, the hashtag you use should be relevant to what you're trying to say, and don't make it anything too odd that people can't find. Not too long, unique, and then settle on a specific one to use. Pick one out. So number 2, check if the hashtag is already in use. You want something unique to what you're saying. Now, if others are searching the hashtag for their own messaging, this will be confused with your posts and tweets when people look for it. So you want people to find you. So create something unique so you can build your own audience around your hashtag. So number 3, most importantly, spread the word. So include your hashtag on your posts and tweets over and before the Christmas period if you can. You can use scheduling for that as well. You can also mention it on your website and any emails you're sending out, on your signature as well, or newsletters or flyers. So spread the word about your own hashtag so people start to use it. So then monitor, have a look to see who's using your hashtag in their own messaging, and interact with their posts and tweets by liking, sharing and retweeting. So you're all getting involved in each other's messaging. If you engage with your audience, they'll engage with you as well. So it's creating that community. And then number 5, stay consistent. So if you're looking to run similar messaging next year for Christmas, try to use the same hashtag if it's still relevant, without amending it too much or amending it at all really. And this will help your audience to find your posts and tweets again. So you're staying really consistent with what you're doing. So next we're going to have a look at finding and targeting relevant accounts to include in your campaign. And first of all, I'm going to take you through finding relevant accounts. So who's likely that you can use in your posts and tweets that you can try to target? So there's a number of ways you can search for relevant accounts to follow and interact with and to mention in your messaging to encourage engagement. First of all, Twitter. So as before, we talked about using Twitter search. So use the search box to search for a specific topic or hashtag related to your campaign. So here we've searched for hashtag Christmas, and then just click on people, and all the accounts related to your search for Christmas will be listed for you. And then you can follow any relevant accounts, or you can click into each one to view their tweets and start to interact with them, get involved. Now, as before, you can save this search, or you can even note some of the page names to mention them later in your own tweets. Now, in a very similar way, you can use Facebook search to find relevant accounts. So again, you're searching the specific topic in the search box. Again, we're doing hashtag Christmas. And this time we click on pages. And all of the pages related to our search are displayed for us again here. And we can start to like the pages and click into them again to interact with their posts. And again, if you prefer to, you can note some of the page names as well, so you can mention them in your own posts when you're scheduling them. Now, once you've found some relevant pages, you can start to mention them across your posts and tweets. Now, when you mention an account in a post and tweet, they will be notified that you've mentioned them. So this way, they'll be more likely to see what you're talking about and start to engage with what you're doing. Now, it's a really good way, mentioning accounts, to attract people to your own messaging, get more engagement going on your posts and tweets, and reach people, and even give a little thank you to key accounts that are relevant to you. Now, we've given a couple of examples here. You can see we've included Priors Park here in this one. We've mentioned them here. It's turned blue when we've done it. And in Twitter here, we've mentioned Citizens Advice Bracknell. So do get involved with mentioning people, but we would say it is recommended to only use 1 or 2 mentions in a single post or tweet. You don't want to distract from your main message that you're trying to put across by adding too many. So 1 or 2 as a maximum is best. So I'm now going to hand back to Marina, and she's going to take you through how to target relevant accounts.
Thanks, Misha. So just a few tips about who to target, because it's quite easy to make some fantastic social media posts and post them up, and you're not really reaching the right people. And you'll find, I think, as Misha went through on social media, you can be more specific about who you target. So, and also to think about your messaging. So do you need to have a different message for your supporters and your followers, for example, or trying to get new people to support you, or businesses? So think about where they live and work and who else they follow, and what type of social media platforms do they use. And then put yourself in their shoes. What are they interested in hearing about? Are they interested in hearing about what other people are doing, what you're doing, about the beneficiaries you're supporting? And think about your messaging appropriate to that. And then the other important thing is to plan and structure your campaign. So if you are running a Christmas campaign, what are your key messages? Now, are you going to focus on, we've got this one fundraising event, or we want to raise money to provide a Christmas dinner, or we want to do this thing for abandoned pets? And keep that message throughout your social media campaign, and associate your imagery and your videos and your messages all with the same campaign. Think about the dates when you're going to run it, and you can use scheduling, so you don't have to be thinking on Christmas Day that you've got to post all of your tweets and your Facebook posts, because you can use scheduling in Hootsuite or Facebook or Twitter or Facebook to schedule them in advance. And also make sure you've got a very clear call to action. What do you want people to do? So going back to the very beginning, where we saw that a third of people are more likely to give to charities if they're prompted, it's a great idea in your social media to say donate here and link to your fundraising page with your clear donate button. And also, I think something that a lot of people forget is, don't forget your own volunteers and your own employees. So social media is not just for your marketing or comms people. I mean, I've worked in companies where they only allowed, for example, the official social media person to tweet, but you get much more reach by getting your volunteers and your employees to start retweeting and sharing. So brief them on your Christmas campaign and tell them to look out for it and to share it, especially on things like WhatsApp. So if they're all using WhatsApp, give them your WhatsApp link. You can do that through the Good Exchange and show them how to use it and pass it on to their contacts and their friends and family. The other thing I wanted to bring in, and I think it's a real shame that we have to bring this in, but we've recently had some charities fundraising on our platform, and for things like the floods in the north. And we've had some, well, I wouldn't call them trolls, but some people who've made some negative comments about those charities. So I just wanted to put a few tips in for you if you haven't experienced this before. Be clear to make sure all your posts use words and messaging that really represent your brand and what it's doing, so you can stand firm behind what you say and there's no doubt. Make sure that you do have someone tracking what's going on your social media channels, even over Christmas, because if you do get comments, you really want to respond to them. And if you haven't seen our Hootsuite webinar, there's a really good tool in Hootsuite where you can track all of your social media comments and messaging in one simple place. So that's worth looking at. Also, social media is increasingly two-way. So when you get comments, whether they're positive and negative, make sure that you do respond to them, especially negative comments if they're valid or if they're a complaint. So we do get people on the Good Exchange making valid comments about things that we've done or might do, and we always try and make sure to go back with a constructive comment. So keep your responses factual and keep out emotions, and don't feed the trolls. So don't give them a reason to come back to you. But in some cases, comments are inappropriate or malicious. They might not be, they're not negative comments that are valid, but they're silly or inappropriate. And in those cases, you would be perfectly in your rights to delete them, and also to block those people from following you on that social media channel. Now, the other thing that I wanted to give you information on about is let your website and your social media do your targeting for you. So I wanted to quickly talk about something called search engine optimization. I know you might hear people talking about SEO, and you can have organizations doing this for you, but there are some quite simple things that you can do for yourself. So search engine optimization is optimizing your website and your social traffic to get what's called organic, i.e. you don't pay for it, so it's not advertising. Traffic from search engine results like Google and Bing, getting your page and your social media content up the top or on the first page. Because what search engines do is they scan or crawl websites to learn what your site is about, and it helps them. They use algorithms to deliver more relevant results to people who are searching on Google and Bing. So SEO is just a process that organizations go through to make sure that their websites and their social media are ranking more highly in the search engines, so that people who are searching for Christmas or charity or, you know, pets charity or homeless charity, and it's your charity that comes up the top and not someone else's. So the most important thing about SEO is it's your content that allows you to be attractive to search engines and helps your organization to be connected with people who are looking for topics that you might be talking about. So the more relevant content you have on your site, the more likely search engines are likely to find you. So when you're doing Christmas campaigns, it's a good idea to, I don't know, write articles, write blogs. So so the one important thing is on your fundraising page on the Good Exchange, we see a lot of charities who don't really talk about what they do and why they're doing it, and they don't incorporate keywords that people might be looking for on search engines in their Good Exchange pages. So one thing to really bear in mind is that your Good Exchange page is also a website page, and you should think of that as part of your online presence and part of your website. The other important thing to bear in mind is it's increasingly likely that Google and Bing are using social media activity when crawling your websites and crawling online to find out where to rank a page. So content now posted on social media like Twitter and Facebook will now appear in search engine results. And that's something that's happened really more and more over the last few years. And I've put a couple of links there to some blogs if you want to learn more about that. Now, keywords are part of the way that search engines understand websites. So Misha's talked about hashtags and key hashtagging. If you think about keywords that people are searching for on social media, those keywords are very similar to the words that are used on websites and also people using them to search. So use those same keywords on your website and your fundraising pages. So it will help your fundraising projects to be found by the search engines. So what you want to do is match the language on your website pages and your fundraising pages and your social media to things you think your supporters might type in when they're looking for you or looking for organisations like yours. And also words that people who don't know you might use to search for content. And also it's quite a good idea to look for words that other organisations that are similar to you are using and make sure you have those words on your website. And as I said, remember your fundraising page on the Good Exchange is also a website page and needs to have great content, including those keywords, so people can find it through search engines. Now, the great thing is Google has got a tool to help you find out what the most relevant keywords are. Now, you'll need to have a Google account to do that, and I've just put a link here to a webinar we did that told you how to set up a Google account if you haven't got one. And also we've actually just posted on our website and on YouTube a short video about how to subscribe to YouTube that also tells you how to set up a Google account. So if you go to our website under resources, you can find that YouTube webinar. So Google's got a free keyword finder tool, and the data comes directly from Google, which is the most commonly used search engine. And I've put a link here to the keyword planner. When you get to it, just click on Go to Keyword Planner, click on the box, and you can start typing in keywords that you're looking for. So if you're looking for more than one, put it in apostrophes there, like I've said. And then every time you type one in, just press the enter button on your keyword to confirm the keyword. You can see it will turn blue. And then when you've typed in the keyword you're looking for, so you can see here I've typed in Christmas donation, Christmas charity, and Christmas charities. Click on Get Results, and you can get the results then. Another way to do it is if you've got a website of an organisation that you think is doing a fantastic job of reaching their organisation, you can start with a website. So you just enter their website URL in the box there. And you can either search the entire site or just use a particular page. So once you've done that, what Google will give you is a list of the top keywords that match the things that you've put in. And it's given me a list of top keywords that people are typing into Google around Christmas. So if you want to broaden your search, just click on those words to add them to your list. If you do that, the Get Results button will reappear, and click it to rerun your query. You can obviously see, because I'm looking for Christmas keywords, these ones have a much higher search volume in November and December, and then it obviously goes down a lot throughout the rest of the year. The other thing you can do, if you click on the Download Keyword Areas box, you can export the list into a spreadsheet, so you can look at it and then you can use it on your website and in your social media. So these are some of the keywords that Google recommended when I typed in Christmas charity and Christmas donation. So I put a list here in the webinar to help you. And they also said, don't be too generic, such as Christmas, because you'll get thousands and it's not what people type in. Also, don't put the whole search in. Just use some specific terms like that when you're putting keywords in your content. So once you've got your keywords, add them to the content you write on your website and your fundraising pages, and think about what words would people who don't know you use to search for content. And remember, as I said, that social media channels are also used as search engines, so you need to put the keywords in there. So here's an example of actually a fundraising page on the Good Exchange that came up really highly on Google. So this is a Bassett Law flood relief appeal. This appeared in a Google alert that I had only half a day after their project went live on the platform. So what it means is that Google's website crawlers had found their fundraising appeal after only half a day. So you can see they've got things like flooding and emergency appeal in there, and also the Good Exchange. So this link goes directly to their fundraising page on the Good Exchange. Really effective at making their fundraising page visible on Google very quickly. And the point I wanted to make is I don't receive Google alerts for every new fundraising page that goes on our platform. Actually, I very rarely do. But on this one, I got an alert after half a day. So if you want to look at Google alerts and set them up for your own organisation, then I've put the link here. And then here's some examples how you might use the keywords. So just going back to Misha said about hashtags, I've got some examples here. So it's just some tips on how to use those keywords and how then to link them to your Good Exchange project.
We just had a question that one particular charity are saying that they have one person, 1 hour a week to help with social media specifically. What's the best thing to prioritise? I would have thought possibly scheduling.
Yes, because I was going to say, we have a goal to schedule at least one tweet and one post every day. So if they could do that and collect up some great images, maybe from your website that you've got, and make sure when they schedule them, they put images in them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, really get that visual thing going on the post that you're putting out. Always add an image or a video, and use Hootsuite or Facebook directly to schedule. And that way you've always got something going out. You've always got a presence at some point, even when that person's not there.
I think as well, it's important to note that on Hootsuite, you can duplicate posts. So if you're short on time, that could be a really useful tool for your organisation. If you had a really successful post, you can duplicate that. So that would be a really good time saver for you guys as well. So you can watch our Hootsuite webinar to look at how to do that.
So now I'm handing back to Rasheen, who's going to talk about how to drive donations to the Good Exchange.
Thank you, Marina. Okay, so I'm going to talk about driving donations to your fundraising page. So I think it's important to note, to be active on your fundraising page, and remember that this page is what you use to advertise your project. So it's really your opportunity to show the world, what amazing work that you guys do and what you're trying to raise funds for, and the positive impact that by being able to raise these funds will have on your beneficiaries. So there's a number of ways you can do this to improve your fundraising page on the Good Exchange. So you can use images, provide updates, write thank you messages, and put any fundraising events that you're holding on your page. So as you can see here, this organisation has got a really nice image, and they've also uploaded some images and some videos as well. And they've also got a description in terms of what they're trying to raise funds for. So the second thing you can do is write thank you messages to your donors. So as you can see here, this person has said, thank you to all of you who've donated this week. It's much appreciated. You can also put updates in terms of how your project has coming along. So say, for example, you've reached 50% of your target, you can log on the Good Exchange and write an update saying, we're 50% of the way, this much is left to raise to go. And it really just it makes your page look more active and more appealing to potential donors. So here's an example of someone adding a fundraising event, which you will do through edit the public page. So you can see here they're holding a skydive in aim to raise some donations for their project. And another thing that you can do is you can encourage your fundraisers to support you by clicking Become a Fundraiser on your project page. Another way to drive donations is that you can actually link up your social media to your Good Exchange page. So we've talked a lot about the use of social media and what you guys can do to raise awareness of your project. So a really good thing to do would be to actually link your networks to your Good Exchange page, so it's easy for donors to find. So once you've done that, as you can see this example here, Newbury Soup Kitchen, they've actually linked up their Facebook, their Instagram, and then Twitter. So what this means is that when someone is viewing their organisation, they're reading about their project and they can click on these links here and it will directly take them through to the social media. So a third thing you can do is that you can link your Good Exchange project page to your website. So this example here is Dingley Promise. They've got a supporter zone on their website that's really nice and clear. And then what they have done here is that they've linked the Good Exchange project on this page. They've also written here that they have got a match funding offer currently from Greenham Trust and that their donation will be matched. This is a really great thing to do, but what I would suggest is that if you are going to do this and tell your supporters that a donation will be matched, is that you need to keep an eye on your match funding offer and how much that you've actually got left. If your funding offer does run out, then you need to make sure that you amend this page, as you don't want to be telling your donors that it will be matched and then to find out that it hasn't been if your offer has run out. So it's a really good thing to do and it definitely encourages donations, but just make sure that you're keeping an eye on how much you've actually got left in terms of your match funding offer. So another thing you can do is just sharing your link out, as we've previously talked about now, on Facebook, Twitter. The WhatsApp functionality is great, as Marina mentioned earlier, and then also your newsletters. So I've just put another example here. Newbury Soup Kitchen is sharing out their project link on their Facebook page. When you're sharing out your project links, please make sure that you're logged out of your Good Exchange account. Otherwise, the links will be broken. So that's a really important note, is that if you're going to be going to your page and sharing your link out, is that you are actually logged out of your Good Exchange account. Make sure to also tag us. As you can see, they've done this here, and you can see that it's highlighted in blue, which means that the tagging's actually worked, and we will do our best to reshare and retweet your posts as well. So other things you can do, keep aware of trends, hashtags to promote your posts. For example, UK Charity Week, Charity Tuesday, and many other hashtags that Misha has previously spoken about. And then the last thing you can do to drive donations to your page is you can run Facebook ads. You can run ads to increase traffic to your fundraising page, make your project page more visible to potential donors. And in our advanced Facebook webinar, we have how to create and run Facebook ads in that. Okay, so I'll pass you back over to Marina, who will talk about reporting on your results.
So I'm only going to cover this very briefly because we did do a whole webinar about reporting, and it is a pretty in-depth subject, but there are some things you can do very quickly to look at the results of your campaigns, your Christmas campaigns. So one of them is Facebook Insights. So Facebook Insights is a section alongside your Facebook organisation page. So it tells you about how your page is performing, and it gives you quite useful information about your audience and which posts people are responding to. So it's a really good way, if you start a campaign, to look at how it's performing. So it can help you understand who's looking at your page, when people are going to your page, where posts are going, and which posts people like the best. And as Rasheen said, if you've got something like Hootsuite and you can duplicate posts, if you can look at which posts are performing the best, you can just copy them and use them again. So all you have to do to use Facebook Insights, log into Facebook and access your organisation page, and you can see at the top you've got a topic called Insights. So just click on that, and then you'll have a list of options. So you can have an overview, you can look at your likes, your posts, people, and all these other things. So I'm just going to focus on 4 of them at the moment. So the overview section is good if you want to see how your Facebook page is doing generally. So if you haven't got a lot of time and you're not an expert, just go to the overview page. You can see, for example, how many page views you've had, how many likes you've had, how many people the post has reached, how many people have engaged with the post, so commented on it or something or made a comment. And you can also then do that by different dates, like today, yesterday, 7 days, or custom dates. So also, if you scroll down to your 5 most recent posts, you can see which posts you've had that have had the most reach and most engagement. So that's quite good if you want an update of your current campaign and see how it's performing. You can see which posts have done the best, and as I said, reuse them, reschedule them, or repurpose them. So reach shows you the number of people who viewed your post. So you can see here we've got 108, 97, etc. Engagement indicates the number of people who've reacted to it. So they might have clicked on it, who've liked it, commented, or shared the post. You can also click on an individual post and see specific details of the reach and more engagement. So, as I said, it's a good idea to share out or schedule your most popular posts again. Now, these webinar recordings show you how to schedule via Facebook and Hootsuite, so you want to schedule them again. And again, if you look at the webinar about analytics, you get a lot more information about all of these reports and how to use Google Analytics and how to use Facebook Insights and Twitter for reporting. So the like section on Facebook shows how many people are liking your page. So if you've got a target for increasing the number of likes, you can use this section to see how many you've got. And it also shows if your audience is going up and down. So if it's beginning to go down, you might think about posting more content or encouraging more people to like your page. And the post section, as I said, this shows you when people are looking at your posts. So you might see that your peak time is in the evening or in the morning or lunchtime. So it's quite good. So in this example, you can see it's between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. So again, if you're scheduling posts, you can look at this and schedule them all between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. So then Twitter Analytics. Twitter Analytics is a very similar thing to Facebook Insights, but it's about Twitter. So it can help you understand who's looking at your page, how far your tweets are going, and your best performing tweets and content. So to find Twitter Analytics, you have to be logged in to your organization's Twitter account, and you'll see probably an icon in the top corner or a picture. So click on that, you'll get a drop-down menu and click on Analytics. If it's the first time you've used it, you'll have to turn Analytics on. Now, if you don't turn Analytics on, it's not retrospective. So if you haven't turned it on, you haven't used it, and you go into Analytics, you won't see anything. So you need to turn it on and allow a couple of days for it to start gathering information. You'll be presented with an Analytics dashboard that goes forward from when you turn it on, and you can see how many tweets you've posted, how many impressions, how many people have seen it or had the opportunity to see it, how many people have visited your Twitter homepage, your profile, and how many mentions you've had, and also how many followers you've got. So again, if you've got a campaign that's got some goals around those things, it's quite a good way to see in one place all those statistics. The home section shows you your page generally. So I just talked about some of those things here, and you can see the trends, and you can see here, everything's going up, so that's good. You might want to look at whether things are going down and whether, if you're posting enough tweets. The tweet section is more about the engagement with your tweets. So if you want to look at which tweets are the most successful, then the tweets page is a good place to go to look at that. You can also download your tweets information to a spreadsheet if you want to do anything with it in more detail. And here, engagement rate indicates how strong your engagement is in relation to general engagement rates on Twitter. So if you get anything above 1, that's considered to be good on Twitter. I mean, the reason for that is Twitter gets absolutely millions and millions of posts. So if you can get 1% of the people engaging, then that's a good thing. And link clicks, again, that's a good thing to look at, because if you're putting links to your fundraising page in your tweets and a call to action, it's always good to track how many people are actually clicking on your tweets. Because if you're putting links in and people aren't clicking on them, you might want to think about your messaging and how openly you're asking people to do something, to take some action, read here or click on it. And one of the tips we found was that if you put a link in the middle of a post, people are more likely to click on it than if you put it at the end. Because if you look at, say, Twitter or Facebook, quite a lot of the content is underneath the more word, which you have to click on, and a lot of people don't bother. So the audience section looks at your audience. It'll tell you what they're mostly interested in, what language they are, what lifestyle. I mean, it's useful if you're a charity that targets a very specific type of cause. It's quite good here to look at your audience. Probably not so good for the Good Exchange because we're a bit more general, but it's definitely good if you're targeting a specific type of cause. And then you can get an overview. You can look at the size of your audience, milestones, and that sort of thing, and their interests and gender. So if you're targeting particular gender, then again, that's quite helpful to you. So also the events section highlights key events. So this is quite good. We talked about Christmas. You can see here things that are trending. So for example, you could put in here Charity Tuesday or UK Charity Week, and you could see what was happening with those events across the UK or across the world, and you can use that information to create relevant tweets on appropriate days. When it's not Christmas, you could search for events that are relevant to your cause or charity, and then you could post tweets on those days and include popular hashtags. Now, Google Analytics, I'm not going to cover this in any detail at all because it's a very complicated subject, and I would recommend that you watch our webinar. Google Analytics is the leading way to analyze what's happening on your website. It will tell you who's going to your website, what they're looking at, where your visitors are coming from, and you can also look at some of the information on your social media, for example, who's clicking and where they're going to on your website. So Google Analytics will measure anything you're tracking. So it'll measure things like visitors, where they're coming from, the location, what they do, and that's called the dimensions. And the metrics are the sort of things that you measure. So if you're looking at website traffic, country could be a dimension and the number of visitors would be the metric. So if you're looking at, for example, where your visitors are coming from, you can look at, the people are coming from that city and I'm getting 100 people from Newbury. So you can see here, this is a Google Analytics report. Here's my dimension. You can see I'm looking at cities, and I can see that 22.9% of my users came from London, 6% came from Newbury, and 5% or Google didn't know. So you can also look using Google Analytics on your audience. So you can look at, so going back to our social media and who's our audience, you can do the same thing on your website. Who's doing what? Who's visiting your site? So on Google Analytics, the audience reports are down the left-hand side. So as well as looking at cities, I can look at the demographics of people, their interests, their geography, their behavior, even the technology they're using. So I would recommend that if you want to use Google Analytics, think about what it is you want to know and focus on those things rather than drilling down into every feature that it's got. You can also see where visitors are coming from. So you can see here, I've got all traffic to my website. I've got things like Google ads, and I've got here social. So what this is Google Analytics showing me where people are coming through social media to my website, which might be something you're interested in. And I've got some examples there of where you can see where people are coming from. And I said, we haven't got time to go into all that in detail, but do watch the webinar. If you want to learn about social media analytics, I've put a link here to the social media analytics webinar. The other thing we've mentioned throughout this webinar, other social media webinars that we've done, so that you can view recordings of all of our previous webinar and also download all the slides. So if you haven't got time to listen to all the recordings, you can download the slides, and then you can zoom through the webinar recording to the right bit that's covered in the slides, and then just work out how to do whatever it is you want to do. And I've put a link there. So that's the end of all the webinar content.